Okay, so 한국말 할 수 있으니까
감사합니다.
고맙습니다. That's
고맙습니다.
that's the only thing you need to learn. 고맙습니다. Thank you.
고맙습니다.
Yeah. And 안녕하세요.
I like mumble and then say say
안녕하세요. Yeah, but pretty much the thing that I learn in every language is thank you, which is 고맙습니다.
고맙습니다. The hard one is it's like two syllables different than Chinese.
Uh,
And so I keep saying it in Chinese and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "I'm almost positive it." And then it's just because
well,
it's
Chinese is xie is thank you, right? Xie xie.
I think 谢谢, but also 감사합니다, right?
Well, 고맙습니다, 고맙습니다 is like this. That's
고맙습니다.
thank you in Korean.
고맙습니다.
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 It's kind of like, do you want some mopping? 고맙습니다.
고맙습니다.
Some mopping.
고-
Mopsum. 고맙습니다.
고맙습니다.
습니다. Yeah. Yeah.
습니다.
Yeah.
고맙습니다.
Yeah. Boom. That's it.
습니다.
Yeah, pretty much if I just in any language I just learn thank you in any country and like yeah, most of the time people will say a bunch of stuff and you're never going to get in trouble for saying thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Like, oh, it's nice to meet you. Thank you.
Exactly.
How are you?
Hello and thank
Thank
you.
you.
That's pretty awesome. When I found one restaurant I can eat at, and two restaurants that they told me I could eat at, and then I got scared and didn't eat at.
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
Talk about an easy place to cut weight somewhere where everything has sesame in it. Do
yeah, that's pretty funny.
you know how to say sesame?
Sesame. No, no idea. I just use Google Translate, and I'm like, I'm allergic to sesame, and I hold it up, and then they just get really upset and start pacing back and forth, and I'm like, oh fuck, dude.
There's nothing
The
here
one rest,
for you to
the
eat.
one rest, yeah, the one restaurant. I was like, I'm allergic to sesame, and they were like, yes, no, and I was like, perfect. That was the response I wanted. And then
Yeah.
last night we went to one, and I was like, I'm allergic to sesame seeds, and he's like, and then just started pacing back and forth across the restaurant, and I was like, oh fuck me, okay, I'm gonna just go. And then he started ordering food for everyone, and I was like, no, it's okay, I'm going. You order their food, and it just got more confusing because we were trying to translate like I'm scared, they want to eat, and then it got really chaotic. So I just as soon as he walked away, I got up and just disappeared. I was like, it's just gonna make it everyone easier if I'm just gone and everyone else is still there, and then he doesn't have to worry about me.
Yeah. I don't know how to say sesame. There's like weird words that I don't know how to say, like sesame and pillow, and I
I
don't know how
think
to say them in a bunch of languages.
I think sesame is almost the same everywhere. It's like sesame or sesame, sesame,
Might just
sesame,
say sesame.
sesame. Yeah,
Now you could probably just say sesame 아니에요.
anieo,
할 수 없어요. Like it, well, just say 아니에요. 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 Sesame 아니에요.
anieo.
Yeah, if you say 할 수 없어요, it means like I can't. Like I can't.
Okay,
Um,
I'll
but
die.
anyway, enough of the Korean lessons. Man, I wish I was there. I miss that place so much.
Stage to come.
What are
It's
your
sick.
first impressions?
Oh, I love it here. I came back in. I came. My first time here was in 2022, and it
Mm,
was like my favorite city. I was like, this place is sick.
yeah,
Um,
man, Seoul
and
is
now
overwhelming.
Seoul is overwhelming. It's pretty dope. I haven't traveled that much like within Seoul. The first trip we did a few like days of like bopping around. This week I've just been like hanging out at the hotel in the venue, watching rock climbing and chilling.
Yeah.
All the um, some of the kids went out to the Hudge something. I forget what it's called, but like the bar scene strip, and like
I don't know
everyone.
bar scene in Seoul. I didn't go to Seoul very much. It was just a lot. Like I spent most of my time in Daegu. That's where I lived, and in Busan, which is like
Okay.
it's like the Miami of Korea. It's like
Oh,
the
shit.
city on the tip of the coast where I think it's pretty cool. There's a lot of great seafood and wild stuff there, like people just eating live octopus and
That sounds
yeah,
awesome.
bunch of old dudes drinking soju and like daring you to eat a live octopus to prove your manhood. That's pretty cool though. I mean, where else does someone ask you to do that?
Yeah. I
Uh,
once ate a live guppy. I got dared as a kid to eat the guppies they were using to fish. They were like live little baby guppies.
yeah.
And I was like, I'll eat one of those, and I regretted it.
Well, they'll chop up the octopus for you
Hmm.
and they like cut the beak out and then chop everything else up and then they pour this really good like red sauce on it and it's all just moving around and then
Yeah,
just the
because it's got
nerve
like 8 hearts or something.
yeah, well just the nerves and stuff like when you chop the head off a snake it still moves around right for a little while till the nerves stop.
Mhm.
Same thing, so it's wild. You like try to eat it and the little suckers like grab on to the inside of your mouth and stuff. Yeah, I prefer it just fried, so
Yeah,
I did
that's
the
what
experience though.
we tried it.
Hmm. So, dang, you made it.
Did the thing.
Dang. That's
Season
crazy.
goal
That's
accomplished.
awesome.
Pretty psyched. I was talking to Mary about it yesterday because, like, realistically, my two goals for the whole season were I wanted to make two semifinals and I wanted to make top 40. And I made the first semifinal and I was like, okay, I want to make one more semifinal. And then I hurt myself and was like debilitated the whole season. Like essentially climbing. Though like it was funny because I didn't post about it on Instagram. Like I kept trying to post about it and then just like ended up it just kept postponing it and like couldn't figure out what to say and then I was like, you know what? Like I'm actually just not gonna say anything. It's maybe better to just not say anything than be like, I'm injured and sucks, not so hard.
Yeah.
But like essentially I was climbing with one hand the whole season.
Hmm. Well,
Like this is what happens when I have
now
two
you get to
hands.
whine and cry about it, like on a podcast, on a video for everyone to see, like
Yeah,
way
totally.
more in depth than just an Instagram post.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's maybe better to hear about it on video than to post about it on the internet.
But yeah,
Um,
congratulations. Yeah, the
Thanks.
goal is
Right.
accomplished.
The goal is accomplished. And now I have like a week before semifinals, which is super cool because I'm old and I need a week to recover from a qualifying round.
Hmm.
Um, so I'll actually like get to go into semifinals fresh and not like cooked from the round before. And also I've like accomplished my goal for the season. And so now I get to climb another round, but I've already like done the work is done. I'm already accomplished my goal. Like I'm satisfied. I did what I came here to do, and I'm like, oh, I just get to chill.
Well, that was what I want to talk about today was the way that you felt before going into the round. And then
Yeah,
I kept thinking when I saw you made it, I was like, wow, he has like 4 days to actually enjoy this cool country.
yeah,
And the way that you look at things when you've made it is way different than if you have 4 days. Because a lot of times you don't, and you have 4 days to be depressed and kind of pretend to go watch everything and kind of pretend to have fun in this other country, and your flight doesn't leave until like blah blah blah. And yeah, I just kept thinking, man, he gets to enjoy everything that happens from now until then. I was so thankful for you.
yeah. That's
So
pretty dope. I want to go explore more. I don't know how much I will do because despite like accomplishing my goal, I'm also trying to like go into semifinals in the best, condition ready. And so I'm balancing the like I want to go explore and have fun, but also like I don't want to just like completely zap my
Yeah.
emotional and physical reserves because
Yeah.
like
You have
being
a
a
big
tourist.
opportunity now. Like you accomplished it, but like the big opportunity is sitting there. And so how did you feel before you went into the round? And then how did you feel after, like knowing that you made it?
Um, so going into the round, I I actually could tell that I was gonna have a good round. I like had a feeling that I was like this is gonna be a good one. And surprisingly enough, the reasons that I was able to tell that it was going to be a good round was because my mindset going into the round was like I was nervous, my expectations were low, I like haven't trained as much as I really wanted to. I like am not as prepared as I wanted to be. I didn't really accomplish any of my like tasks that I had set aside for myself to be like this is my preparation for world champs, and then I got life happened and I like didn't get to do all of those things that I was like I'm going to do all these things to prepare for world champs because I've got this block of training, and like life got busy and I worked and then I got sick and like I world champs was like next week and I was like wow I just haven't done any of the like things that I said I was going to do to prepare for world champs. um, and it had been long enough since I had been successful at a World Cup that I was like, I didn't have that like post good result of like, oh, I've got this, like I'm ready, like I know I can do this. Um, so my expectations were really low, and my
Yeah.
like,
So there's no pressure of expectations. That's like the one thing you have on your side is like you can just go have fun. And if you had done every single thing leading up to it and perfectly hit all your marks, you'd be like, okay, I expect myself to nail this. And
yeah,
so now you don't have expectations.
yeah, no expectations. So I then, and I clocked that early this week, like the day before I left, and then the first day or two I was here, and then even going into ISO, I was like, the nerves started to kick in a bit, but I was like, man, like, I really don't know how it's going to go, and I don't have much expectations. And I was like, this is actually a really good sign for me. Like, this is, I've got a feeling that this could be a good round for me because I'm like, I'm not invested in the result. I'm not invested in, like, I don't have expectations of how I should stack up. And then I proceeded to have a horrible ISO warm up. Like, I felt terrible in ISO. I was like falling on V2. Like I don't think I finished a single warm up boulder in ISO. I like couldn't do a single boulder. Um, I felt terrible. None of the boxes were getting checked that I was supposed to check in ISO. And then I like had a meltdown in ISO like 10 minutes before I went out to the chair where I was just like couldn't do a move, couldn't do a move, couldn't do a move and just lost my shit and like fully went into like that dark place that I go to sometimes that is like been kind of my like thing that I've been trying to solve this year is like how to control those emotions, and I like usually they happen on the field of play, not in ISO, and I like it went into I was like oh fuck like I'm losing my temper in ISO. This is like the worst case scenario is like going out to the mats already angry and upset. Um, and I was able to like turn that around and go out to the first boulder with like a level head and like level emotions that like totally like reset and go into the first boulder. Um,
What turned it around? What do you mean I was just able to?
that's a good question. So I went back and I did some headspace. I actually like fully just like took 20 minutes to like just sit, or maybe 10 minutes to like sit in a chair
App
and just
headspace or like you have a thing you do?
no, like the app headspace.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't plug it in because I don't have my phone, but I just like I've done so much of it. Like I started doing it with you, and I
Yeah.
like just sat down and I just like played his voice in my head and like went through all of the breathing techniques and just like thinking about like just counting my breaths down from 10 and just like bringing my attention to my breath, clocking feelings and emotions and thoughts and like oh that's a thought, dismiss it.
Yeah.
Well, that's a feeling. And it was hard. Like I didn't really ever get into meditation. It was just 10 minutes of me being like thought, feeling, thought, feeling, breath, thought, feeling, thought, thought, feeling. Like there never got to meditation, but like I think it was a good like grounding thing.
Yeah.
And then, and acknowledging that like I was a how you climb in ISO doesn't actually matter at all. And
Yeah.
so like I've had baller ISOs where I've like been like smoking the entire Japanese team, and that's maybe a bold statement, but like I was keeping up with the strongest dudes or doing boulders they couldn't do, and I was like, and then got 60th place. So
Yeah.
like it don't matter. It doesn't matter. ISO does not matter. Um, Reminding myself of that and being like, okay, this doesn't actually affect anything that's going on. Um, we had pretty good intel, as you do, that like the first boulder was not going. Because like ISO was like shared a wall with the boulder, and so like you know a group of dudes have been doing this for 25 years. You can like hear and tell, and so like all the boys were like, yeah, dude, no one's done the first boulder yet. Like it doesn't, you don't, it doesn't go. It doesn't, you
Would
don't
you
have to do
rather
it.
would you rather be early or late in ISO because of the fact that you can get a feeling of that if you're later?
Early, early for sure.
You want to go early?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, you get the best conditions, the best holds,
Oh, yeah.
like everything is, and that for me is like I think huge. And even like with results, it's like it doesn't really like unless you are like if you go last, there's like some very rare occasions where like weather affects it, where you're like, okay, like it starts at 4 p.m. and ends at like 9 p.m. And so like the last three dudes are like climbing in 20 degrees colder weather.
Which is
That I'd rather go last. That's like a big deal. And that happens sometimes. Like in Innsbruck, I went out relatively early and it was the middle of the day and it was like probably 89 to 90 degrees out and like 95% humidity. Like just terrible conditions. It was like 90% humidity, 98% humidity, and then by Boulder 3, it was just downpouring rain and I was like climbing in a puddle of water. And it was just mid rainstorm, like monsoon rainstorm, and they canceled the round or like postponed the round, and the rain stopped and they cleaned the mats, and then they started the round again. And by that point, like 2 hours had gone by, and it was now like 65 degrees out and like 80% humidity, and all of the boulders started to go really good. I was like, okay, like that sucks.
yeah.
So like situations you can't control. In those situations, I would maybe rather go last if it's like colder outside. But the majority of the time, I like going early, fresh holds, set the standard for the round. I think that's like for sure my favorite. There's plenty of dudes that go last in semis every day, every year, every World Cup, and just still just come out and smoke all the boulders. But like, I'm gonna take every advantage I can have.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just depends on the person you are. Like, if you're motivated by, because it could go either way. People could come out and start sending stuff, and now you feel the pressure to send stuff.
Yeah,
But sometimes the pressure to send stuff is good for people because they know what they have to do and they know it goes. But
right.
sometimes the pressure is, especially if you fall on it and you know it goes, that can get in your head and like wreck you. So yeah,
Totally.
it
And
just all depends.
that happened to me on the last boulder problem, and that's like transitioning into how I felt after the round was like I had a pretty good round. I knew the first boulder was not getting topped, and so that it didn't really matter. And with the new rule change, um, the most important thing now is attempts to zone. It's like huge. To get all of the zones in low tries is like super, super important because attempts are equal across the board, whether it's to a zone or to a top, because it's just like point 0.1 that you get taken off. And then also, now because it's not like tops and then zones, you can make up for a missed top with a zone
Okay.
because it's like 10 points, 25 points. So getting all of those zones is like super, super, super important because you can like start to make up ground with those zones. Um, and it's like very similar. It's still like it being tops are king and still all these things, but attempts to zone is now like 10% more important than it used to be, which in like this field matters. And that's like what got me into the next round was like attempts to zone. It was like one attempt to zone was the difference between semis and not semis for me.
Yeah.
Um, and so I knew Boulder one didn't go, and it was like, okay, I just need to get the zone. I got the zone, and then Boulder two I did really fast, and then the next two boulders I clocked pretty immediately that they were just like absolutely cooked. I think I could have done three, although I think only Serato did three. But I like had a feeling I was like, I think there's a way to like cheese this boulder and do it. It was like a big press move, and then at the top of the press, you like hand foot match the ball that your left hand was on, and you like scooted over and had to match this thumb press thing. But the thumb press was just absolutely, it was like at a 40-degree overhung wall, so it was like super weird shouldery. It was really hard, but I think there was a way to like sit on the ball or do a knee bar on the ball or like some kind of cheese like shenanigans to do that boulder. But I wasn't too upset about it because I like clocked it and was like, this boulder's cooked. Fourth boulder was like, this boulder's cooked. There's no chalk on the finish hold. Like, this isn't going to be the difference. This is the boulder that's super hard and I don't need to do it. And then the fifth boulder, I flashed to like the last move. And then I like, it was like, okay, I can do this boulder. Like, this is going to go. I just need to figure out the right foot sequence to get to the finish hold. Like, I knew that I could do this boulder and I had a feeling that I needed to do it. Because just like the feeling in the round for me was like I need this boulder, and then I like sat down and the dude next to me on the B version of that boulder did it. Okay, cool. Like there's confirmation bias that like this boulder is doable and that I probably need to do it, and then proceeded to just crumble under the pressure of like I can do this, I need to do this. Like semis is in my grasp. I could hear by the cheering from the US crowd that like I was close
Yeah.
to. Like the boys were going ape shit. And when the boys go ape shit, there's like a chance. Like if you're bombing the round, people are like,
Yeah.
yeah,
We know how
like
that fake cheer
keep
goes.
your chin up. But if the boys were like, let's fucking go, you're like, okay, like I'm in it. I'm like, I'm within touch and grasp. Um, and I just fully crumbled under the pressure. I didn't do the boulder and was devastated. Just absolutely devastated. It was like this has happened to me a few times now, where like I've clocked it, and I get in my head and I start to think. I think really the important thing is that I start to think about the goal and not the preparate like the process.
Yeah.
Like my mind is now thinking about like results and scores and goals and blah 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 blah, and, which means none of my brain power is going to like locking in and doing the thing. Um, so I was devastated, super devastated, really bummed. Like, and a big part of that too was like I really felt disappointed that I didn't climb my best. Like that was not my best round. I like I came up short of my potential in that moment, and whether it's like my ultimate pretend, like just in that day, what I had to give, I didn't give it all. I like
What
left
do you
something
think?
on the map.
What do you think was in the way? Like you
I
hear everybody getting psyched and okay, this boulder goes and I flashed the last move. So like all of those things should tell you like I'm gonna do this boulder. Like
totally.
what happened to make you feel like you couldn't do the boulder or like what happened that made something feel wrong? Because those seem like good circumstances for you.
I have struggled for a long, long time. Like I even remember it back in like 2018. I was struggling with this, where like and this was a more acute thing where like I would get to the finish hold and I would be like within touching grasp of the finish hold, and the thoughts going through my head would be like, all I need to do is just grab that finish hold. I'm right here. I'm right, and it's like all that's going through my head is like, there's the finish hold. All I need to do is do this,
Yeah.
and my attention is now like on that finish hold and like just and it becomes and it's this big ball of emotions and things that proceed to like if I do this boulder I win or I podium and what happens if I win? Like, oh, and back then it was like, oh, Nathaniel's in my category. I might beat Nathaniel if I do this boulder, and like all of my attention is just starting to like flow away. Versus like the important thing to think about is the complete opposite direction, which is like how much pressure am I putting in my foot,
Yeah.
and am I toeing down to the edge or am I toeing down to the right, and like where
Yeah.
are my hips relative to this foot, and what are they doing to make sure that I stay on this foot? And it's the same thing with this one. Like, um, for me, like the move specifically was like you have this pusher pinch, jib, shenanigans, and your foot was like all up in your face on this other one. And then there was a left sloper with a thumb jib on it, like just a little tiny thumb thing. And there was a little mini pinch to the right of the pusher hold. And essentially you had to like get to these two holds, and then build your foot on a jib. So your right foot's pushing on a pusher sloper, and then there's a jib on the front of it, and you needed to build your foot onto that jib and rotate over to the finish hold. And the first time I tried, I went thumb press first, and then couldn't tried to get my foot up and couldn't get my foot up. So I came down and was like, I think I need to get my foot up first. And then I watched the other guy match the pusher hold, go to the crimp, and then go up. And so I was like, that's probably the way, and started trying that. And like, um, the like physical things that were happening was like my foot would slip on the first move, my hand dry fired on another attempt. I missed this crimp the second time. I think my thought is that like I think this pinch was like a couple centimeters to the right of the boulder, B boulder that this kid did. And so on B boulder you could take it, and on A boulder you had to go up and then take it, because if you come on, you barn door off. This is some of my thoughts. Um, but like my problem solving skills then became like, oh, I watched this kid do this boulder, but realistically that's not the same boulder. It's just like a replica.
Yeah.
And so like maybe it's not the same. Maybe you don't climb it the same way, or like, um, but yeah, all of these things. But like really, what needed to happen was like, instead of like I had information, which was great. I watched someone else do the other boulder, but like really, what needed to happen was I needed to take this information and then go climb the boulder via my own intuition, and just like focus in on like the things that were happening and follow my intuition, and like be in the process of figuring out this boulder instead of like thinking about the end results of like I need to do this boulder, or what are the results, oh like, and all these other things that like take away from the actual process of like, why did I fall on that move, why was my leg trapped in my shin, how can I get this pinch, like what are the, and so like problem solving skills totally went out the door, and like all I was thinking about was results and like the end goal of like, I don't know. That's my
Yeah, it's crazy because like you see this like straight from the beginning of climbers all the way to the highest level is that people will get impatient at the
yeah
finish line. They like
yeah
see it, and sometimes it feels like the setters are like setting for, if you get impatient right here, you're gonna fall. And if you're
oh for sure
patient and think about what has to happen, my body's here, my body needs to be in this position to control the finish hold. Let me get in that position.
yeah
Instead of, oh God, there's all my future goals. I need to reach out and grab it. Well,
yeah
if you do that, it's like this golden nugget that's like going to drag you into a volcano of lava. You just like reach out instead of like saying, okay, take a breath. What position am I in? What position do I need to be in? Let's just get in that position.
yeah exactly
It's a really easy thing to like say in hindsight, but it's a really hard thing to do every single time. And I think the only way you can do that is just practice it every single time you get on a boulder. It's like if
yeah
that is your issue, then you should take, even if boulders are easy for you to top, you should stop at the last move of every boulder. Take a breath, think about your position, think about the perfect position to go finish a boulder. Because especially if people are really strong, they'll just be like, "Oh, I can jump out of position and swing off of this hold and like hold it however I want to."
Yeah.
If it's that kind of thing, but like if you want to drill in your head and make sure in competition you can act the way you are in practice, then you have to just, even on easy stuff, you stop, you say, okay, what position am I in? What position do I need to be in? And then you move into that position, even if you're climbing V5 or
Yeah.
V7 or V8, whatever it is, like every single time. Um, because once you get out there, you're going to have 1,000 reasons to forget what you've practiced a couple times, and what you know when you're sitting here thinking about it. But if you practiced it 1,000 times, then 1,000 reasons, all the crowd, the lights, the temperatures, the chaos of competition. Um, yeah, however many reasons there are to forget is how many reasons you need to practice that.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but you'll figure it out. I mean, you made it. So
I mean,
here's like a
yeah,
funny situation where you're like, oh God, my dreams are over. I missed my goal because of this, the way this last boulder was, which is also like so many climbers come back to ISO after a round and they're like, oh God, I failed. And you're just like, well, we wait for results. Just wait
yeah,
for results. Like we don't know what happened until the results come in.
yeah,
So
exactly.
how many more climbers had to go for you to wait on your results?
Like 20 something.
Oh man.
Yeah.
How was that wait? How did that go?